how, I mean, we're talking about 150 versus maybe 100 or 110. So also a 40 million difference that is going to be distributed between three levels of government, and then that is going to one man.
It was an agreement.
One man, Valentine.
Hey! Previously, the Attorney General rejected that and said he never had any agreement with him on that. But that goes against what the court papers said. Apparently, they had an issue in court and the court granted.
Yeah, granted. This is
so it's apparently supposed to go to him and his family.
No, don't think about the amount. And that is an amount that is being shared.
But the argument is, at the time Abacha allegedly looted the funds.
Yes. He looted his job, allegedly. He took the money.
I'm sorry, I just beat my tongue.
Yeah, I used to say that allegedly, which is you have to be careful in media,
right.
Of course, I understand.
So, I mean, they said the money was invested in trust.
So it's
for the family.
Plus interest is built up over time.
Thank you.
That just shows you. You see that?
Yeah, it's probably collecting
of course,
foreign company.
But it's just
PNID.
Oh my goodness, the scale of it. Anyway, so that's he said about 300 and something million will be left in the account. Also, she was asked, and I mentioned this yesterday, about GDP projections for Nigeria for 2020. Recall that in the earlier budget of 10.5 trillion naira for 2020 that was put out, the GDP projection was 2.93%, right? So she was asked, okay, you've revised your benchmark oil price from $57 a barrel to 30. You've revised your oil production from 2.1 million barrels per day to 1.7. Okay, have you revised your GDP projections? What are they? And this was like the most revealing moment of the interview. She said, and I think I posted it on YouTube. So go to my Twitter handle, Rotan Quotes, and you'll see it there. She said, well, we are seeing a contraction. Now there's a qualifier here. She said, we're seeing a contraction in GDP of 3.5%, if not for the stimulus. So I don't know. She was honest, but she was kind of playing around with words here, because what she said was that, and this is equal to the figure that McKinsey put out, the global consulting firm. McKinsey came and said Nigeria's economy is going to contract by 3.5%, which is ugly, because when we hit the recession in 2016, the economy contracted by 1.6%, and they're saying this is like almost 2 times what that is. But she now said that they are seeing 3.5% contraction without the stimulus. So that is, on the monetary side, CBN has announced a 3.5 trillion stimulus. On the fiscal side, you've got the federal government announcing this $500 billion. So altogether, you put it all together, 3.5 something, almost 4 trillion, right? The key here is that, and I wish she was pressed more about this, but she wasn't pressed. Is she now saying that with the stimulus that the government has put in place, Nigeria is going to avoid a recession, and she didn't go into the figures, because it's almost at this point, unless oil prices, and I'm going to get to oil in a second because there's a big meeting coming up that Nigeria's fate, hangs on. If oil prices stay where they are you saying that with your stimulus we'll still avoid entering a recession this year? Also, with the COVID-19 spread going on, what's going to happen? So she I like the fact that she admitted that, okay, government is seeing the country entering a recession, but her adding that, so what does it mean? Does it mean that the stimulus will mean that we'll still enter a recession, but it won't be at 3.5%? Will it be at 2% or 1.5%? She didn't say whether we'll still enter a recession regardless, but the stimulus will reduce the degree to which the recession affects the country. So that one was a little, I like the fact that she was honest, but she didn't really clear it up as to how bad things would be. So, there was that. What else did she say? So yeah, generally I thought it was a pretty honest interview from the Minister of Finance, admitting how things are. So again, okay, so now to oil now. There was supposed to be an OPEC Plus meeting on Monday. President Trump came out and said that he is intervening between Russia and Saudi Arabia. Those two countries, for anybody, they are the cause of our problems right now. You blame Russia and you blame Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, well, I don't know, I think you blame Russia a little more. Saudi Arabia was the one pushing for OPEC Plus to cut oil production. Russia refused. This was March 6th when everything just went belly up, and Russia said, Saudi Arabia said, it's like that, and okay, fine, forget it, we're going to just flood the markets with oil. So President Trump now intervened on last week, sending out a tweet saying that, well, um, he's going to intervene. They're going to have a meeting. Oil prices now jumped. Remember, oil was at 20 something barrels, 28, 27, 28, 29 barrels a day. It's now at 30, $33 per barrel, around 33, 32 last I checked. So a meeting was now tentatively scheduled for Monday. Then Trump now had a meeting with oil producers in America, oil executives. Those ones went and told, I mean, allegedly, I wasn't there. See, I'm using Valentine's language now, but allegedly, they told him that, Oga, this one they are going to go and talk to Saudi Arabia and Russia. We want you to impose sanctions on them because they are reducing oil, they are reducing the cost of crude, which is affecting us and our ability to produce. Apparently, for shale oil producers in the US, their break-even price is $40 a barrel. So as of now, ever since oil dipped below $40, they've been losing money. Russia has explicitly said they want to put shale oil producers out of business because they are adding to the oversupply. The glut, the oil market glut is put at about 35 million barrels per day. So there's an oversupply in the market. So it's a supply side contraction that we're seeing in oil prices. So Trump is now caught in the middle. He wants to intervene between Saudi Arabia and Russia, but his people in the US are telling him no. So he now, after the meeting, he now came out and said, oh, you know what? This is a free market issue. Saudi Arabia and Russia should sort themselves out. The meeting on Monday was now scrapped. They now pushed it to Thursday, which is tomorrow. But even that one is still tentative. Then yesterday, G20 energy ministers, and the G20 includes the bigger economies, Japan, France, Germany, US, so on and so forth. They now came and said, okay, you know what, we'll have our own meeting on Friday, which now suggested that they don't think the meeting tomorrow will still take place. We'll see. So there's a meeting tentatively for tomorrow between the Saudis and Russia. Then there's a meeting between G20 energy ministers on Friday. Nigeria's entire economic outlook rests on the outcome of this meeting because they've been affecting oil prices. The minute oil traders said there was a meeting, oil spiked. Then they said, oh, no meeting, oil dropped. Then it's just been volatile up and down. If there is no solid, concrete outcome, everybody should please pay attention to this meeting tomorrow. If it happens tomorrow and Friday, to some degree, the real main meeting everybody should be focused on is between Saudi Arabia and Russia and their energy ministers. The G20 energy ministers, I don't know how much influence they have on Friday, but if they want to have their meeting, let them have it. Anyway, what does it do for us? What oil traders are saying is that if nothing comes out of this meeting and there is no agreement to cut production between Saudis and Russia, oil could fall to single digits, as in they will it's over. Yeah, that's what they're saying. That's the projection. It's not me saying it, just what I've been reading extensively, because that means that all bets are off. There's no agreement in sight, and that's the end. They just forget. Whoever gets the market share gets market share.
So the liquid gold will probably be less important.
It will be less important, and why in soup, because the Minister of Finance was asked about our cost of production. She actually put it at $25, because the one I remember saying that the deep offshore oil production between 15 to 18. That was what I was looking at, but she put it at 25. So she said yes, that it's reducing the benchmark oil price to $30 a barrel. It doesn't help us at all because our cost of production is 25, and that leaves us only a $5 spread. By the time you add other things there, we're almost making no money at all. So anyway, it is imperative that Russia and Saudis come to an agreement. But if they don't, then all bets are off. And for the rest of this year, I think Fitch, the ratings agency, who by the way downgraded us, they came out saying that they're looking at, for the rest of this year, oil trading at like $23 a barrel. So look, it's not looking good for us, right? So it is really important that this meeting things come out well. But here's another thing. This is something I noticed. I read yesterday. The estimated cuts that they're looking at is 10 million barrels a day. Yeah. So that is the cut that they want to agree on. Russia said, look, if you want us to cut our own production and Saudis to cut production, the US must join in and cut as well. That was one of the conditions they put forward. Based on the meeting that Trump had with his oil execs, who are those ones? They want sanctions on Russia and in fact, by the way, Rosneft or Rosneft is an oil company, a state-controlled oil company in Russia. The U.S. already has sanctions on them because they've been supporting Maduro, the president of Venezuela, after his election, and because of the support, they already levied some sanctions on them. So there's that's already there, but that's directed at Rosneft. So they want wider sanctions. So Russia has now said that America must join in and cut oil production as well. Shale producers are saying no, we will not cut, so we're going to keep producing. So it's a really complex thing. And again, as they say, when the elephants are fighting, it is the grass that is suffering. Unfortunately, Angola, Nigeria, who else? I think Ghana just started producing oil. By the way, speaking of Ghana producing oil, this Akufo was his name, the president of Ghana. See one viral video that came out yesterday. Hey, Valentine, this man is trying. Lagos, did you see the video? I have to find it and post it. He came out saying that they are suspending any and all disconnections for electricity across the country during the COVID-19. He said he's guaranteeing electricity provisions for everybody. He just gave out a raft of...
No ambiguity there.
Nothing. He just came out and
big English.
Video.
Very clear, direct statement.
Straight. They were praising him that listen. The Ghana, anyway, let me not do Ghana Nigeria comparisons. Everything, no electricity shut off so anybody anywhere in Ghana. If you owe money, you're not paying. Don't worry, just wait until after the whole.
Was it not just yesterday? I was asking you.
Yes. But remember, I said it was Echo. What's the Echo Disco? It was only one disco that came out to say that they will suspend any and all disconnections during the lockdown.
Yeah.
So at least shout out to Echo Disco, at least one. But this was the president of Ghana coming out and saying, I don't care whether you're owing money. If there's electricity for everybody during this period, you don't have to pay.
That's it.
Ha!
What more can a government do?
Look,
are we asking for too much? Okay, so stay in the house. Oh, so should we use lantern?
Exactly. What do you
want us to do?
Oh, and they're not telling essential services to come out, and then you have checkpoints.
Oh, and then no, that's not all. Go and stock up on food. Where should we put it in our cupboards?
Exactly. Where? It's just so. Shout out to the president of Ghana.
We know they're trying. It's not easy.
Okay, real quick, Benga, come on here. What sort of arrangement did we get into that we need to pay Bagado? Okay, that's him, the Quebec guy. The amount of money that they understand. Benga, they say it's a prior agreement, so only Lord knows.
Abacha.
Exactly. This money is from the Abacha loot money that was illegally acquired. It is weird. We should get a lawyer to ask whether that agreement can be void.
No, but the court upheld Bagadu's.
They upheld his side because of the agreement, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
so it's the law. Do we still have the sovereign wealth fund? Yes.
Yes, we do.
He also adds, so it means the economy will have contracted by over 5% without the stimulus.
Well, she said 3.5 without the stimulus. But again, we have to see how things go. So the oil play is really fascinating everybody. We want to see how that one is going to turn out. Again, it's tomorrow. Everybody is on Tinder hooks watching to see how things turn out. So it's going to be very, very interesting. But if oil falls into single digits, I don't see how any stimulus can save us. Oh, one more thing. I know I mentioned what is it now? Nonso Obikili's article yesterday. There should be no shame in going to the IMF to ask them for more money.
Yeah, she actually said no shame in begging.
In begging, thank you. She reiterated her point that look, the only funds we're getting is this COVID-19 rapid credit facility that they set up for a number of countries, and that is it. They're not going for any further funds. So the beef that a number of countries have with IMF getting money, I guess, is the conditions that they have there. Who knows? But there's no really beating that horse. She's not going for it. And then Mele Kyari, I think I mentioned this at the tail end because we're running out of time. Mele Kyari has said officially that there is no more subsidy. He says it's done, it's dusted. PMS will move in line with market dynamics. Now, of course, it's very convenient to say this now because oil prices have crashed, and now, but it's a smart move. Now is the time to get rid of the subsidy. Also, tell Nigerians that oil PMS has dropped. So in the middle of March, they said it was 125. Then at the beginning of April, they announced a new price of 123.50. The only issue I have is that they are waiting for an entire month let me read this. Read that message from
Olaoluwa from Yaba. He said, can we invoke the force majeure clause in the agreement with the Kebbi State governor for now at least and delay the payment? We need the money more than ever now.
Val,
imagine the look on his face when you tell him, COVID-19, so just hold on. That $100 and something million, bro. Even me saying
no. For one man, Val. I mean, this was the thing is blowing my mind. But $150 million for an entire country. This was 110 for one man.
It's been in foreign accounts for many years. Yes. Will we still collect the interest on them?
Of course, I think so. I think he's entitled to everything that's there. They have to be because this was an agreement that was made with a prior administration years ago.
They invested it on his behalf.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's anyway. Allah,
It just makes me reevaluate my life. Like, what was I doing at that time?
$110 for one human being.
But when an agreement and it's legalized, it's in legal papers
That's
and court
it.
upholds it. I
You
don't
can't
know
fight
what
it.
argument
Exactly.
I don't know what arguments you have.
You
against
know,
that.
you can't. So I don't know. It's again with the fact that the UK has come in and they've attached their name. That's another fascinating case. So anyway, that's what's going on. We have to again. Well, we'll see how far tomorrow. I think by the time Business Express happens tomorrow, the meeting will not have held. So I think it will be later on too. So it's Friday morning, and we'll know how far with the meeting, oil meeting tomorrow. That is the biggest news Nigeria is waiting for right now.
Be cautiously optimistic. Today is the day 14 of the lockdown.
It should. Oh, already?
Yeah.
Okay, so it should be over now.
Maybe.
Or they'll extend it. Please don't extend it. I beg.
Thank you, Rotus.
Thanks, Val.
Catch him up at Rotan Quotes. And if you missed any part of this show, go to youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos and check the recap.
Business Express.
Thank you.
Bless.
Dude, I didn't think I would make it. That shows how free the roads are.
You did well.
Even with all the delays.